Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Wahyuni and I am from English Education Class A 2019. Now I would like to explain about a methodical history of language teaching. This material will focus on methods as the identifying characteristics of century of modern language teaching efforts. Okay, before that, let me explain about approach, method, and techniques. Approach, according to Anthony, was a set of assumptions dealing with the nature of language learning and teaching. And the second one is method, described as an overall plan for systematic presentation of language based upon a selected approach. And the last one is techniques, is specific activities manifested in the classroom that were consistent with a method and therefore were in a harmony with an approach as well. Okay, the next one I would like to explain about methodology and curriculum or syllabus. Okay, methodology is pedagogical practice in general, including the theoretical underpinnings and related research. Whatever considerations are involved in how to teach are methodological. Now I would like to explain curriculum or syllabus. It is designed for carrying out a particular language program. Features include a primary concern with the specification of linguistic and subject matter, objective sequencing and materials to meet the need of a designated group of learners in a defined context. The term syllabus is usually used more customarily in the United Kingdom to refer to what is called a curriculum in the United States. Now I would like to explain changing winds and shifting sands. A glance through the past century or so of language teaching will give an interesting picture of how varied the interpretations have been of the best way to teach a foreign language. Teaching methods as approaches in action are of course the practical applications of theoretical findings and position. In a field such as ours that is relatively young, it should come as no surprise to discover a wide variety of these applications over all the last 100 years, some in the total philosophical assumption to others. Now I would like to explain about variation method in this chapter. The first one is the grammar translation method. In the 19th century, the classical method came to be known as the grammar translation method. There was little to distinguish grammar translation from what had gone on in foreign language. Classrooms for centuries began a focus on grammatical rules as the basis for translating from the second to the native language. Latin was taught by means of what has been called the classical method, focused on grammatical rules, memorizations of vocabulary, and variation, declination, and conjunctions, translating of the text, and doing written exercise. As other languages began to be taught in educational institutions in the 18th and 19th centuries, the classical method was adopted as the safe means for teaching foreign language. The Second one is the audiolingual method. The success of the Army method and the revived national interest in foreign language spurred educational institutions to adopt the new methodology. In all its variations and adaptations, the Army method came to be known in the 1950s as the audiolingual method. The audiolingual method, or ALM, was firmly grounded in linguistic and psychological theory. For a number of reasons, the ALM enjoyed many years of popularity. The ALM was firmly rooted in respectable theoretical perspective of the time. Materials were carefully prepared, tested, and disseminated to educational institutions. Success could be overtly experienced by students as they practiced their dialogues in off hours. But the popularity was not to last forever. And the next is Queen and the series method. The history of a modern foreign language teaching may be said to have begun in the late 1800s with Francois Queen, a French teacher of Latin with remarkable insights. History doesn't normally credit Queen as a founder of a language teaching methodology because at the time his influence was overshadowed by that of Charles Berlitz, the popular German founder of the direct method. And the next one is the direct method. The basic premise of the direct method was similar to the Queen series method. Namely, the second language learning should be more like first language learning loads of oral interactions, spontaneous use of language, no translation between first and second language, and little or no analysis of grammatical rules. The direct method enjoyed considerable popularity at the beginning of the 20th century. It was most widely accepted in private language schools where native speaking teachers could be employed. The direct method didn't take well in public education where constriction of budget, classroom size, time, and teacher background made such as a method difficult to use. Moreover, this method was criticized for its weak theoretical foundations. Its success may have been more a factor of the skill and personality of the teacher than a methodology itself. The next one is Beyond Method, National Functional Syllabuses. As the innovative methods of the 1970s were being touted by some and criticized by many, some significant foundations for future growth were being laid in what soon came to be popularly known as the National Functional Syllabus. Beginning with the work of the Council of Europe and later followed by numerous interpretations of national syllabus, national functional syllabus, began to be used in the United Kingdom in the 1970s. The distinguishing characteristics of the NFAs were its attention to functions as the organizing elements of English language curriculum, and it is contrasts with a structural syllabus in which sequence grammatical structures served as the organizers, reacting to methods that attended to strongly to grammatical forms. The NFS focused strongly and in some of its interpretations exclusively on the pragmatic purpose to which we put language. As such, it was not a method at all. General notions are abstract concepts such as existence, space, time, quantity, and quality. They are domains in which we use language, experts express thought and feeling. Thought and feeling. And the next one it is cognitive code learning. Increasing interest in generative transformational grammar and focused attention on the governed nature of language and language acquisitions led some language teaching programs to promote a deductive approach rather than inductivity of DELM. I think that's all from me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.